Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something you've probably heard a lot about: positive thinking. But we're not just talking about feel good quotes here. We're getting into the hard science that shows how our thoughts can literally, physically change our brains. So, yeah, let's get right into it. So, this really brings us to the big question, right? Is positive thinking just a nice idea, something that makes us feel good for a minute, or can it actually truly rewire the physical structure of your brain? Well, the science is piling up and it's pointing to a big, resounding yes. Let's dig into how that even works. Okay, so to really get our heads around this, let's start with a really simple, but honestly, a super powerful metaphor. Think about your brain, not as this fixed thing you're stuck with, but more like a gym, a place that's all about potential and change. And the comparison is surprisingly literal. You know how when you go to the gym and work out, your muscles get stronger? Well, it's the same idea. Every time you practice positive thinking, you're strengthening certain pathways in your brain. It's like doing reps for your mind. And over time, you can actually break out of those old negative thought patterns and change how your brain operates by default. All right, so brain workout sounds cool, but what's actually happening in there? What's the biology that makes this possible? Let's pull back the curtain and look at the incredible process that lets our brains change on command. The magic word here is neuroplasticity. And all that means is that your brain has this amazing ability to reorganize itself, to form brand new connections all throughout your life. It completely throws that old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right out the window. Our brains are literally built to adapt, from day one right to the very end. Okay, there's this super famous phrase in neurology, you might have even heard it. Neurons that fire together wire together. And it's famous for a reason. It's the core idea of neuroplasticity. Basically, every time you have a thought, a little electrical signal zaps between brain cells, or neurons. When you repeat that thought, the same neurons fire again and again and again. And doing that actually strengthens the physical connection between them. They wire together, making that thought pathway faster, easier, and more automatic next time. And we see this happening in the real world all the time. Studies have shown that the brains of professional musicians look physically different in the areas that control music. Or get this, London taxi drivers, who have to memorize thousands of streets, actually develop a bigger hippocampus, the brain's memory center. The big takeaway here is that this same physical change doesn't just apply to learning a skill like piano, it applies to our thoughts and our emotional habits too. Now, here's the crucial part. This whole rewiring thing, it's totally neutral. Your brain doesn't care if a thought is good for you or bad for you. It just reinforces whatever you repeat. And this is how we form really, really powerful mental habits, for better or for worse. So you can really see the two sides of the coin here. If you consciously choose to focus on things you're grateful for, you're strengthening those positive pathways. You're making it easier to feel positive later. But the exact same thing happens with worry or cynicism or anger. The more you dwell on it, the stronger those pathways get. Whichever path you walk down the most becomes the brain's new superhighway. And this explains so much, doesn't it? It's why some people just seem to be effortlessly happy, while others feel like they're totally stuck in a negative funk. It's not magic, it's a practiced habit. It's a well-worn neural road. But here's the amazing part, the really good news. Once you know this, you can consciously decide to stop walking down that negative path and start building a brand new positive one. Okay, so the theory sounds great, it makes sense, but what does the science actually say? Let's look at some of the hard evidence from brain scans and studies that prove these changes aren't just in our heads, they're a biological reality. And the evidence is really stacking up. I mean, brain imaging studies show that when people practice positive thinking, they get more activity in their prefrontal cortex. That's the CEO of your brain, the part that handles decision making. At the same time, they see less activity in the amygdala, which is the brain's little alarm system, the fear center. So you're literally strengthening your brain's leader while calming down its panic button. And it doesn't stop at the brain. These changes ripple out and affect our whole body's chemistry. Research has linked these mental practices to lower levels of cortisol, that's the stress hormone, and more of the good stuff, like serotonin and dopamine, which are key for feeling happy and motivated. It's a direct line from your thoughts to your physical health. All right, so we've seen the science. We know our brains can change. The obvious next question is, how do we actually do it? How can we apply this?
Let's get into a few simple practical techniques you can use to start steering this process yourself.
The name of the game here is consistency. Practice, practice, practice. Think of these 5 things as your brain workout. Number 1, gratitude. Super simple. Every day, just think of 3 things you're grateful for. 2, positive affirmations. This is just about actively talking back to that negative voice in your head with phrases like, I can handle this. 3, surround yourself with positivity. Who you hang out with really matters. 4, mindfulness. This is just about noticing your thoughts without judging them. You can't change what you don't notice. And finally, number 5, challenge that negative self-talk. When you catch a negative thought, don't just let it sit there. Challenge it. Replace it with something more realistic or positive.
So, when you boil it all down, it comes to this. Your brain is not set in stone. It's this living, dynamic network that is waiting for your instructions. Every single thought is a tiny choice, and every choice you make helps build a pathway. So the only real question left is, what new pathway are you going to start building today?